This is the Myrtle Beach Real Estate Trends Outlook and Forecast for 2022. So smash that thumbs up button if you're ready. Look, there's a lot of junk going on in the world right now. And the big question is, survey says, is 2022 going to be a boom or a bust? Is there going to be a crash? This is what's on everybody's mind since we've seen some serious price appreciation over the last 2 years. Many people are asking, so in this video, I'm going to give you the full and complete real estate outlook for 2022 and the Myrtle Beach outlook for 2022. Last year, we saw many changes, and there's going to be many radical changes in the future. Just think about the economy, think about the workforce, pandemics, vaccines, think about inflation, how things have gone up. Think about some sectors are going to have hyperinflation, and the changes in technologies, the changes in relationships. Think about relationships, how they've changed over the past few years. It's kind of crazy, right? So some of these things have either hurt us or helped us. Plus, there's a massive migration of people going on right now. So if you don't know me, my name is Jerry with Jerry Pincus Real Estate Experts here in sunny Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you've seen this channel before, you know that there's over 1,000 helpful videos here about Myrtle Beach, about moving here, about real estate, market trends. And so what's happening now is I want to help you avoid the pitfalls that are costly. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so that when new videos like this come out, you're going to get the alert. You'll stay up to date with the latest and the greatest. So now, you may have seen me on Market Watch or one of the other television interviews, and you can only give a couple minutes worth of video in an interview. So in this episode, I'm going to go pretty deep if that's okay with you. The coastal Carolinas here on the Grand Strand has seen an influx of people that are relocating here. As a matter of fact, Myrtle Beach is one of the fastest growing metro areas in the nation. And I want to show you where Myrtle Beach ranks. It's number one in construction leader by the percentage of building permits, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. You probably already knew this, but Myrtle Beach is growing for sure. But take a look at this construction leaders by permit. Myrtle Beach ranks number one in the nation from the Census Bureau. And the reason I want to tell you this is because this is a crystal ball. This is looking into the future. These are properties that have not been built yet, but are going to be built or going to be down the road. So it's not about what's already happened. It's about what's happening into the future. What's in the crystal ball? People are moving here from New York, New Jersey, Texas, California, all over the place. I mean, it's just amazing. Chicago, Georgia, Nevada, and people are even moving out of Florida and moving here. So when we're talking about the Grand Strand, geography-wise, that's all the way from the North Carolina border, all the way down to Georgetown, South Carolina. We're talking about North Myrtle Beach, Windy Hill, Cherry Grove, Main Street, Crescent Beach, Atlantic Beach. Then it goes down into Myrtle Beach, Surfside Beach. We're down into Garden City, Murrells Inlet, and even Pawleys Island. So further inland, we have Conway, Loris, and Long. So we're talking about this whole entire coastline. It's 65 miles. It's a lot of geography here. Now, 2021 was a super crazy year. Wouldn't you agree with me on that? No matter where you live, it's a super crazy year. But this has set us up for some very interesting things into the future. If you watch this all the way to the end, you're going to know what to do, and you're also going to know what to not do. There's a lot of golden nuggets in here, and this information is the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's the whole truth. It's everything. So there's going to be a continued huge gap between those who thrive in this economy and those who are trying to survive. And so what I'm saying here is, it may shock you, but it's going to be the truth, is you need to position yourself to take full advantage of the opportunities. Things you may not even hear about, or you may even not even see, but they're going to be happening into the future. With all the changes, the politics, the shutdowns, the jobs, the phone calls, people are always on the move, right? With all the changes in jobs, in health, in family members, people have quickly found out what really is important to them in their life, and where they live may not be really where they want to live. So there's a huge underground change that's happening, and things that you may not even really see. So let's start with the bad and the ugly. Thumbs up? You good with that? Okay. Inventory. Oh my gosh. We've got a real estate pandemic and a pandemic. Inventory is super lean around the nation.
But real estate is hyper-local. You know, what's happening in one part of the country may not be happening in another part of the country. But there's a massive demand for people who want homes and condos in our area. If you look here, this is the norm, 6 to 5 months worth of inventory. Take a look at how the inventory has been bought up. So there's nothing in reserves. People are still buying, guys. Business has not slowed down. So let me show you this huge drop in homes for sale in Myrtle Beach. We have 1.4 months worth of inventory, where 6 months is the norm.
In Myrtle Beach, we still see prices increasing with multiple offers for that matter. And we do have customers who are priced out of the marketplace because, you know, the prices have gone up and some people are going to be left out of the market. You know, we understand that. We've had clients who have sold their house in another area and they had their money, but the price points kept going up. So it was a tight margin on where they needed to be. So they had to dig in and bump it up a notch in order to get what they wanted. And I understand that some buyers are going to be shut out of the market because of this demand. And I'm just being upfront with you. It is the bad and the ugly. The demand, there could be multiple offers going on. If you're looking for a property that's in a tight price point, you could get multiple offers. We're seeing things that are sold within a few hours. As a matter of fact, we've had some neighborhoods that we've sold through in just a few weeks, you know, and our team has sold a good bit of those. But what happens from the standpoint is there's only a certain amount of inventory. The new homes are coming on, they're being built, but they can only be built so fast because we have these other issues with supply chain and construction and labor, right? You've heard this before. More homes need to be built and there's a backlog of construction right now. So what does this mean? Fewer homes to move into, honestly. We've seen some builders who have a backlog of homes to be built because they can't find people to work on them. They can't find the windows, the doors, the sliding glass, the siding, okay? Some homes that have already been sold, we're seeing, are waiting to be completed because of one issue or another. So going into the future, you know, we're probably going to have more supply chain issues. And, you know, if you look at this from a problem standpoint, it is a good problem to have because the demand is there. People still want to move to the beach. The lure of the beach and ocean is not gone away. But it's not just supply chain issues. It's all, think about all the moving parts that go into a house, the materials, the board constructions, the HVAC. You know, if you don't have ductwork, you can't put together an HVAC system. Roofing materials, if you don't have nails, you can't put that roof on there. So these are the things that are happening.
Another big trend that we're seeing is price per square foot. You know, house costs are going up, but the price per square foot is less than the national averages in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. In other parts of the nation, new home construction, you know, it typically falls between $100 and $200 per square foot. To build a custom home or luxury options, you know, in the nation, you can find $500 or more per square foot. So it does cost a lot less to build here in Myrtle Beach.
So I mentioned there's a big migration going on in the United States, but why are people moving? So people are moving away from high taxed areas for one point. If you get taxed too much, comes a point where you just say, forget it, I'm out of here. Especially when it comes to retirement time, because a big factor is you got to have your income that's low enough to cover your expenses. So if your income is lower and adjusted, you want to have your lifestyle lower and adjusted. So it's not just big cities that are moving. I had mentioned about Florida. We keep hearing about Florida, you know, high property taxes. People who have bought there and moved here tell us that, you know, you want to look at not what the taxes were with the person living in that house, but what they're going to be, because if you're grandfathered in, you've lived there for years, they remain low, but the new people are the ones that are paying. The insurance is the other thing. Can you get a renewal in Florida? A lot of places that have insurance, when somebody else comes in, just watch that, you know, because we keep hearing about complaints about this, and the people who have moved out of Florida and moved here, this is what they're telling us, you know, the congestion. It's not why they moved there in the first place. So moving to Myrtle Beach is another reason because you can get back to different areas in the United States, you know, within a day trip. If you move to Florida, it takes a couple days to go back to many Northeast towns. And if you watch some of these other videos here on this channel, you know, there's a lot of stories here about people who have moved here and give you some other ideas of what else is happening. But another big shift that we're seeing into the future is buying online. So You know, retail stores are going to be seeing things that are going to be changing. Big malls, they're going to have an issue with profitability because there's a massive shift. I mean, just think about everything that's being bought online. Another massive shift is where people are moving away from and where they're moving to. So some areas, people are trying to get out of the congested areas. They're more into the resort lifestyle or trying to get out of the rat race. Others are life-changing experiences, like they had a job change or something changed with a family member. So this lifestyle completely changes their life. And you may think about where all your priorities are, but just think about the time that you have left. Where do you want to be? So let's talk about the good, because I talked about all the negative stuff. You know, negative stuff sells. People like watching negative news. So let's talk about positive. So when we talk about trends for the future and what's positive, there's been a massive shift in the way people actually live. What are your priorities? Where priorities are different? And it seems to be more emphasis on, I'm going to do it now, so I'm not going to wait. So people aren't going to wait till it's too late. A lot of people are paying cash, you know, they buy real estate because they made money on a property that they sold, you know, for more money because everything went up, and they're taking that little nest egg and putting it somewhere else. But I've also seen people who have made money in the stock market, took a little bit off the table, and they're investing it. They want to diversify. They're buying either a primary residence or a second home. We've also seen many people who have taken, because of the equity buildups in their home, taking second homes, a second mortgage out, which is a home equity line, and buying an income producing property. So this is another trend that we're seeing. They're diversifying again, not keeping all your eggs in one basket. And you've heard, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. So this is kind of what people are doing. These are the trends. They're doing it not just for the rental income, but to use the property a little bit themselves. But growing into the next decade, we've also seen many big corporations and funds and many small investors, for that matter, that are scooping up these properties, and they're turning them into rental properties for income production. And I have other videos here on this channel that's about that, but they're doing that not just for the income, but they're also doing that for the future price appreciation. So, but not everybody has cash, right? We said this before. You know, if you're taking out a mortgage, yes, the rates are going to go up a little in 2022, and these rates are still ridiculously cheap. But just realize that if you're financing, you may have some competition out there against the cash buyers. So just be prepared for that. If you are, our team can help you with this on how to structure your deal, but just make sure that you're more appealing than another offer. And that's basically what it comes down to, is getting your offer accepted. You know, interest rates, I do want to talk about interest rates because, you know, they are cheap, but, you know, years ago, we were talking like 6 or 7% was what was considered average or normal. And today, these rates are still less, even though they're higher than they had been in the past 6 months or a year. So I just want to give you the information so that you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up if you like this so far, please. So let's talk about retirement, because this is a big thing that a lot of people are looking to move or change their life or downsize because of retirement. So maybe it's you don't want to take go up steps anymore. You want to live on one single level, or you want to live somewhere where it's warmer, or you don't need the big house anymore because everybody's moved out. It's just, you know, your empty nest, right? Or maybe you don't want the big property tax bill anymore. Geez, we've heard this so many times from clients that have come in, and I'm saving so much money with property taxes. You know, they're paying me to move because my property tax is 1/10 of what it was back wherever. But, you know, maybe you want to live a simpler life, or maybe you just want less grass to cut, less yard to maintain, or maybe you want a view, you want an ocean or a lake or a back up to woods, you know, or just live a simple life, right? There's a lot of things that change when you aren't attached to commuting to a job. So many people are working remotely now, and you know, why not live at the beach if you don't have to, you know, be attached to the job and drive to the office every day? When you do have life changes, it kind of makes you think about, you know, what are my priorities? Where do you want to live? What about what I want to do? On the other hand, People do need to get away. I think this second home idea has only grown, and it's not just here in Myrtle Beach, but it's nationwide. People may not be traveling as much, but they can drive to a getaway that they own. And these trends I don't believe are going to go away. I think they're going to happen. I think they're going to continue to happen. For instance, maybe you would have a property, but you could gain some income out of it, and somebody could be helping you to pay for your second home or your investment, and you get to use it a little bit by yourself. And the priceless part is when it comes time for your vacation, you actually have a place to go. So, or others are using it for the retirement income. Like I said, the supplemental income, the multiple streams of income. Now, another big trend is that we see in the outlook is people in this low tax area. I had mentioned it, I touched on it, but if you think about all the things that are going on and the expenses, we know that inflation is happening, we know things are costing more. So where do you cut back to maintain your lifestyle? So we see this huge migration. People are moving here to South Carolina, the whole state for that matter. But whether you're moving here or looking here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina or beyond, I've got a network of agents that I can hook you up with. So just keep that in mind. Another trend that we're seeing is people are moving into spaces that have more steady climate. They don't want to be too hot in the winter months, or in the summer months, or too cold in the winter, right? They just want it just right. Or still a little change in season, but more moderate temperatures. And so we have that here, obviously. But our area is in growth mode. There are other beach towns that are fully built out, and there's nowhere to build. Fortunately, here we have plenty of land still. If you want to buy an oceanfront lot and you want to build your dream home, you can still do that here, believe it or not. We still have land on the oceanfront if you wanted to do that. And it's not cheap, but you can. But if you think about close to the beach or further away or somewhere else, land values generally go with, they're more expensive by the beach. The further you go out, you can be a half a mile or a half an hour here from the beach, you're going to save a lot of money. But we still have those lots to build on. A lot of geography up and down the Grand Strand. I told you about that. A lot of future developments coming online. Pick up the phone, give us a call, because we can tell you where they're going and where they're coming. Our infrastructure, the good news on this is infrastructure about that is we already know where the roads are and we know where they're going to be. So they're smart here. They plan for 10 years out. So we know where things are going to get developed, which is nice because a lot of places you go, you throw in a subdivision or whatever and they're just building roads just to come and go. And it's after the fact. And then you find out, oh my gosh, that's not really what I wanted. We also have not the ocean, golf courses. We also have the intercoastal waterways here. And then further inland, of course, if you want to be in a rural area, no homeowners association, a little bit more land, you want to do your own thing. We've got areas like Conway, Loris, and Longs, and I have agents that live in those towns and they know it like the back of their hand. So if you have questions, pick up the phone because I know you've got questions. And this is what my team does every single day. They help people avoid the pitfalls that are costly. And you've seen us videos, and that's what we're trying to do is to give you a little education before you get to here so we can actually show you the best opportunities as well. So here's the thing that's a little confusing, and we literally do have thousands of neighborhoods and communities, and if you consider like the oceanfront, buildings or complexes to consider for that matter. When you're on the internet, it's a great tool. You've heard me say this before so many times, right? But it's going to get you started, and it's not going to answer all the questions. There's a lot of things out there that are not accurate, and many of them are not even true. We've seen people have picked up the phone and asked us about listings that are what I call ghost listings. They're fiction. Like, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. They're not even available. I've seen this, and these are on some of these big national websites. They do this to generate, attention. But look, if you're looking for new construction here, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of communities that we can tell you which ones are average and which ones are way above average. So there's other communities where they're just dirt right now. They're just putting the infrastructure in. They're just putting the roads in. And the communities aren't even named yet. So they're not on the internet. And we can, if you want to call us about that, we can tell you before you get here. So if you're interested, something you can buy into and get into early. whereas when other neighborhoods get sold out, you could be standing in line. So that's the other issue. We want to help you to get into the right places. Why pick average when you can have something that's way above average, and if you didn't know about it. We want you to make a smart move when you do move. Just make sure that you're getting educated and consider all of your options that are out there, not just the 6 or 7 that you saw online or the handful of developments that you found on your own. Not the sales pitch, but I want you to know the good, the bad, and the ugly before you make the decision, so you have an educated decision, right? Because we want to show you and tell you, but we want to give you all the information that we know so that you know what's average and what's way above average. But since we're a tourist town, let's talk about taxes and cost of living and that sort of thing. Since we're a tourist town, revenue here comes in through the town through accommodations taxes for visitors, which stay at the hotels, and they pay for a lot of our locals' infrastructure. So if you're a local here, you get to enjoy these things. And, locals get to enjoy many of the things that visitors do, like the 1,700 restaurants and lots of fun things to do, the shopping and live theater, and there's a lot of attractions. Of course, the beach and the ocean and the golf courses and the intercoastal waterway and boating and fishing and all the fun outdoor things. You'll spend a lot more time outside when you're here as well. You're not going to be cooped up in the winter. You're going to be plenty of fun. Or if you just want to chill out and relax, you can do that too. But there sure is a lot of fun things to do here. So if you guys are shopping around, you already know this. We're one of the least expensive beach towns for real estate and properties. So if you've shopped the East Coast, if you've shopped in other states, you've looked. If you looked at oceanfront properties and you tell somebody, look, I can buy a oceanfront property there, blah, blah, for this. You go to other beach towns, it's twice the amount. We're the lowest in the nation. So, and we're also one of the fastest growing metro, and it's not because we're a hidden gem anymore. We're now on the radar. Many people are finding out about us. So as far as the outlook and what's going to be happening here in the future, there is nationwide a huge pent-up demand. We're going to continue to see this trend where people are migrating to areas similar to ours. And the reason is because, as I predicted last year, there's going to be a huge pent-up demand to get out and travel. And guess what happened? Oh my gosh. Like during the summer months, if you were owned an oceanfront condo, you made a third more money than you ever would have made ever if you were that owner. So just as I predicted, the owners of the oceanfront condos, they saw the highest income levels ever. So the demand is there. People do want to go to the beach. If you're an investor, that's something to consider. But with all this stuff going on, there's a huge shift in our habits. Okay, what we do or what we don't do. We may not go on a cruise, but we may jump into a car and drive to the beach, right? Another good thing is we're close to a lot of metro areas, so you could get in your car and drive from to here within one day. You can't do that in Florida. You got to break that trip up, and it's a few days travel. So that happens a lot. And we're close to a lot of big cities. So here's another thing. The economy's up, the economy's down. We hear about people that are afraid of doing this or not, and it's going to be a bad time. It's going to be a good time. Look, whether the economy is up or down, whether interest rates are up or down, this is very important. I need you to hear me. People ask where the sweet spot is, where's the best deals are. And I'm going to tell you something that's the truth. The crappy properties 10 years ago are still the crappy properties today. And guess what? The best properties, they're still the best properties. It's just the way it is. When you find the deal of the decade and you look at a bunch of different properties and you're comparing one side to side, the things that you want to consider is, and a lot of people are frustrated with this because there's not a whole lot for sale, and I get it. But if it does come up, or if it doesn't come up and you don't know about it yet, there's places that are not on the MLS that you want to consider. And then when they do come up, when it's ready, you need to know about those places so that you can jump, okay? Because if it's a good value, it's a good value. And many of the properties, what I'm talking about, are in great resorts where there's no inventory, there's no properties. There's a reason, because everybody wants to be there. Other people want to jump on that. You may not know about it if you're just looking at the MLS listings. So, our team can take you to these properties, different areas before they're for sale. That way you have the knowledge, you know what's going on. Then when one comes on available, you're going to know what to do. They call these pocket listings sometimes. They don't even hit the MLS, as a matter of fact. That's another thing. When it happens, you know this information, and so you can jump in on that. So I'm rambling a lot, I know, but give me a thumbs up again, or comment below. Let me know if this is helpful at all in any way. We've had a lot of people who have decided to make this change because, what's on the cover of every retirement brochure? It's the beach and ocean. It's like people have got to go. And when you're no longer attached to the job, the lure of the beach and ocean is just not going away, and it's only getting stronger with these times. So what I do want to say is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina ranks high on a lot of retirement lists. And we grade high on a lot of these lists and magazines. They come up over and over again. It's the mild taxes, it's the low taxes, the mild weather. We have 5 awesome hospitals here. It's the great lifestyle, low cost of living, close to other major cities. The investors have found good, steady income here. And again, these are things that are going to affect 2022 and beyond, right? One of the hottest spots for 2022 is going to be coastal properties, and it's not just here. It's going to be anywhere on the coast. So I just want you to know these things. And one more thing, look. If you like this video, go ahead and share this with somebody you know who could use it. I really enjoy doing these things for you. I hope they're helpful, and I hope that if you haven't done so already, you subscribe, and I hope that you do eventually have questions, pick up the phone, give us a call. This is what we do. We do it every day. We're very good at it. We want to make sure that you are getting the best information you can, and we're here to help you to avoid those pitfalls that are costly. So it's Jerry with Jerry Pincus Real Estate Experts here in sunny Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care, guys.